Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Good morning, everybody. It's the old captain here, and we have a request from a young man named Kevin. Kevin writes, "Hi, Captain. I've been frequently watching your videos for almost a year now, and they have really helped me. I'm a junior in high school and living in Colorado. Oh, you got the dream, man. And I would like some guidance on what direction I should take with my life. I've already decided that college is not the right thing for me. Good for you. Not only is my GPA nothing to brag about, and college is just not worth the moolah to me, but I would probably end up fucking around anyways and drop out, so I would prefer to avoid it altogether. I don't want to go the safe route and get stuck into living paycheck to paycheck. I just really want to be an entrepreneur, which I know you probably hear a lot. I recently found the value of reading books, and I've just finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and currently reading The Lean Startup." Oh, dude, you are going to be so far ahead of your college peers and contemporaries. "I've been soaking up the information and am about to purchase Bachelor Pad Economics. I'm very excited for next year, as I'm taking useful classes like professional business, accounting, that's good, U.S. economics. I'm really trying to get as much out of my free education as I can. I take computer programming classes if they're offered. That's what I would do. And welding, do they still have shop in school? Or is that considered like pointless and stupid? Because according to the teachers who make $15 an hour, the welders and the electricians are dumb because they don't have college degrees who make $60 an hour. I've been working at a fast food restaurant for almost a year now. I work very hard and have gotten 2 raises, getting me up to $9.23 an hour, up from $8.23 an hour. This may not sound too impressive, but only 3 other people have gotten raises in this particular restaurant ever. All my friends say that I work too hard and that they aren't paying me enough, and honestly, I don't really complain that my boss doesn't pay well either. One thing I learned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad is that I really shouldn't be mad at my employer or the government, and that instead of complaining that my boss is cheap, I should instead take action by doing something like making a business myself." There you go. Which leads to my main question, which is in the summer, should I work full-time as a manager and save up the money, or should I cut back on my hours and try to build a business of some sort? I don't exactly have a business idea yet, but anything to get business experience would make me happy. And furthermore, what do you think I can do in the next year to be able to come out of high school not living paycheck to paycheck? That's one of my greatest fears. I can't exactly say that I've saved up too much money. I make around $8,000 this year and have only saved up $2,000. Well, that's because you're making so little. You're not gonna save up a lot of money making that kind of money. That's going towards a car. By the way, I loved your thumbnail in your recent video recovering from a music degree. That really made me laugh. Anyway, I'm sorry for the length. A video response would be ideal, but a regular email would be good too. Keep up the great videos, and thank you for your time. Well, thank you, Kevin. Where to go? You don't have a business idea. That's the answer. You don't have a business idea. So why are you going to try and start a business? I want to fuck a girl. You got a girl in mind? No, not particularly. Well, you have to start knowing which girl you want to fuck before you start, putting together a strategy. So yeah, dude, if you're already being offered a position in management, even though it's, you're not at Goldman Sachs, management is management. It's going to go on your resume, and that's going to help you be independent by the time you graduate from high school. So if you likely have what I consider called it. And I've mentioned this before. Some people get along well in a corporate environment. Most don't. But you could have that magical ability, whereas you have it, and you get promoted, you jive well with the culture, and you make a great manager. That is your best opportunity offered to you right now. And even if it doesn't pay a lot, it pays very little, frankly. The experience of you being able to put that on your resume, put manager on your resume, and maybe start working in the managerial, who knows, you could become a franchisor of this fast food joint that you're working for. I just ran into a kid whose dad owns 15 McDonald's, and they're fucking loaded. That's not the worst thing ever. And you're 17, no one's going to take you seriously. So going and starting your business, unless you have one, don't do that. Don't bother with that. You have to have an idea first. So I would go do this, build up your resume, and then if you're really, really, really concerned about, not being dependent, not going into debt, and you have no game plan for college, dude, again, I always recommend it, the military. The military is a great place to go for you young boys out there. Looks like they're going to phase out their pension, but even then you get your education paid for. And this is a great place for you to go figure out what you want to do. You'll come up with business ideas. You'll come up with career ideas in the military. But if you're just kind of like, I don't want to go to college, and you don't have a solid plan B except work fast food manager, which is fine. That's moral and noble, absolutely good. But start business that I don't know. You're going to be a floater. You don't want to be a floater. You don't want to just float from here to there from different ideas. You need something to keep you occupied. And I definitely would recommend the military. What can you do in the next year to be able to come out? High school, paycheck to paycheck. That's one of my greatest fears. Music degree. Summer. Yeah, I just want to make sure I answered your question here. Your fear about coming out of college living paycheck, or high school living paycheck to paycheck, I'm gathering that you had the same financial background as I did when I was coming out of high school, and that is parents who didn't do jack shit for finances. That's natural fear, and that's good. It's good to have that fear because it's going to drive you to work and support yourself. But I want to say don't worry because it's going to suck no matter what. So don't worry because it's going to suck no matter what. But if you really want to not come out living paycheck to paycheck, I think it's unavoidable at that age and at that low skill level without any skills. You're going to live paycheck to paycheck. That's what you do when you're a late teenager. Most other teenagers do it worse, and they borrow a ton of money and they go piss it away on parties and booze and drugs and clothes they can't afford. So minimalism, obviously, keep your budget under control. I'd say in the next year join junior ROTC. Certainly work your manager thing, and if you want, hit a programming boot camp. That's the most direct route, is learn to become a programmer over the next year. You don't want, and dude, there's no other choice. You're going to have to work a bunch of part-time jobs. You're going to have to work about 80 hours a week. So you're working your part-time managerial job. You're going to school full-time. Then school is going to be your fucking waste. But you got to keep your GPA up so that you're not a complete idiot when you apply to the military or other positions. But then I would also pick up boot camp or programming. Go to a programming boot camp or something like that if you have interest. If you don't, I don't know what you could do coming out of high school not living paycheck to paycheck, because that's what you do. That's how little high school graduates make. The only other thing I can think of is you go into an industry like the Merchant Marines, or you go and work in the gold mines of northern Nevada, see if the oil fields are still working, and you work some shitty ass, pain in the ass manual labor job that pays you 80 to 100 grand a year. And that's the only, you find some horrible job nobody else wants to do, the Mike Rowe type jobs, and you go and you do them and you suck it up and you cut fish up in Alaska. And that's the only way to do it. That's the only way. But it will be a learning experience and you will make your money. But cut your budget as much as possible. Try and get a skill or a trade that when you graduate at 18, people are willing to hire you, pay you $20-$30 an hour, for programming. But otherwise, that managerial, I'd go that route. Check that out. See if they make you manager or director or supervisor. And then the military. Those are your options. And it's all going to suck. There's no avoiding the suck. I know you think, is there a way to avoid the suck? No, there is no way to avoid the suck. You will embrace the suck. The suck is your friend. The suck is what turns you into this barely pubescent 17-year-old boy into a real man by the age of 18 or 19. So, anyway, best of luck to you. Toodles.